Hey everybody, my name is David Clardy. I'm a sales engineer here at Mitel. Today we're going to be taking you through a short little series of training videos that we've put together around Mitel CX and some of the unique features of the platform that fit different roles within customer organizations. Today, specifically, we're going to be looking into the supervisor experience and talking a little bit about these three key areas from a supervisor's perspective. So first and foremost, we're going to be taking a look at some of the dashboards that we offer within the tool. This gives the supervisors a unique glance into various aspects of the contact center solution, both from a metrics point of view, from real-time statistics for their queues and groups, and then also some highlights of some third-party tools that we can kind of bring into that we're going to build on further in this series, and some of the other third-party applications we can bring into there within those dashboards, things like Power BI and Bright Metrics. We'll kind of highlight some of those. Next, we're going to take a look at some of the interactive features that the supervisors have with their agents. So highlighting some of the standard contact center type tools that are available: Silent Monitor, Whisper Coach, Barge In, some of those traditional contact center features, how the supervisors can utilize them within the Ignite tool. And then lastly, we're going to take a look at kind of bringing both of those features together. So how can we look at supervisors from a supervisor's perspective and monitor the queues, see where our agents are, and then be able to take that to the next level, which is interacting with the queue itself. So identifying problematic areas, high call volumes, and then what the supervisors can do to mitigate, increasing their hold times and things of that nature within their call queues. So we'll kind of build on these as we go through today's session. But again, we're going to talk a little bit about dashboards first. So let's go switch gears and take a look at Ignite and see what we can do with our dashboards. Okay, so as I mentioned, first off, we're going to be taking a look at the dashboards within our Ignite client. So hopefully you've seen some of our other demos in the past and you're somewhat familiar with our contact center environment and what the supervisors and agents have available to them, which is the Ignite tool that you'll see in front of you today. Specifically, what we're looking at is the dashboards section of the client. So that's going to be the top tab for both the supervisors and the agents within our Ignite client. Now, first off, you'll notice at the top of my dashboards, you'll see a drop-down list. Now, I can have a number of different dashboards in here. These could be unique to my individual queue. You'll notice that I have some third-party tools in here highlighted, like our Bright Metrics integration and even Power BI. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be taking a look at what those can provide our customers in later modules within this training series. But today, we're going to be focusing more on how or what provides us the ability to bring those in here, and then of course what out of the box tools customers have within the Ignite environment. So I have a standard kind of supervisor dashboard that I've built here for myself within my demo environment. What we're going to do is take a look at how I can customize that and then add either new widgets to this existing dashboard or even starting a dashboard from scratch. So you'll notice over here to the right, I have a couple different options. So I have an edit dashboard option where I can customize the different widgets available within this existing one. So if I click that little pencil, you'll notice I get a couple of options available to me now. So I can either add new widgets to this dashboard, or down towards the bottom, you'll notice I get the little sprockets on the existing widgets where I can customize those or modify those at my choosing. So let's take a look at adding new widgets in here. So this is going to give you a drop-down or an interactive list of the different types of widgets that are available for supervisors to add. So you have things like employee state tiles. We're going to be covering these a little bit more in depth in the next module in today's session, which is interacting with our agents, our Silent Monitor, Whisper Coach, Barge In. So it's not only going to give us metrics or information for our individual agents, it'll also allow us to interact with those agents or employees as well. Callback requests are nice to have so you can actually view and monitor the calls that are waiting within a callback queue, so we can kind of interact with those conversations that are waiting for us to have an agent available for us. We have our queue now widgets, which are going to allow us to see those real-time metrics for our conversations within the queues. Again, we can kind of break those out by media type. We could even customize the different metrics or information we need to see that is relevant for our supervisors. We'll take a look at that. You have your agent states, which are going to show you the state of your individual agents within your various queues and their interactions. And then lastly, for some of those third-party tools and even some of the Mitel applications you can bring in here, you have your browser-based widgets. So this is where we can bring in things that are maybe a third party that you want to iframe into the agent's experience. Think things like Bright Metrics or Power BI, or think outside the box with maybe, say, a customer's CRM interface that they would like to bring into this one single pane of glass for a particular agent or supervisor. You can kind of think outside the box when it comes to our browser widget integration. So we already have a few of these already added into our existing dashboard. So let's look at what those provide us and what we can kind of tailor within that experience. So first off, you'll notice I do have a queue now tile here at the top. You'll also see that I can kind of drag and drop these as I choose to. So if I wanted to reorder the widgets, I can kind of bring these up and down as I want to within this interface, so I can customize the layout and the order that I see these individual tiles. Now, as I mentioned before, you do get this little sprocket icon on each of the widgets, so you can go in and kind of tailor each one of them. So within the queue now, you'll get a full list of all of the queues. You'll also notice that there is a media filter here or column. So in each queue, especially when customers are doing multimedia, you want to be able to not only filter it by queue, but also by media type. So if I wanted to search all of my David Clardy queues, which are how we have our call center groups named within our demo environment is by agent, you'll see that I have a number of different queues, or actually it's a single queue with a number of different media types. So you'll see that they all have the same reporting number, they similar queue name, but an indication as to what media type they are. And then you'll also notice our media indications over here. So we have our open media, our SMS, our chat, our email, and our voice, all for the David Clardy queue. Now, nice thing about this is I can see all of the same metrics, but I can break that out by media type. So I can see how my queue, that same queue, is performing for our voice conversations versus chat versus SMS, which could all have varying SLAs and my expectation for my agents. So I want to be able to see all of those broken out uniquely, even though I have the same agents handling those conversations. In the column section, you'll get to kind of customize what metrics or information you want to see for those various calls. So if we wanted to see, let's say, abandoned percentage versus the actual number of abandoned calls that may be coming in, or I should say conversations, for this particular queue, I can kind of change that particular column. So maybe I want to see it as a percentage versus the actual abandoned number of calls. So again, I can kind of tailor the individual columns, not only the individual queues that I want to see that information for. Lastly, within this particular dashboard, you'll notice I have a couple of employee state tiles here. This is going to give me the option to interact with these different agents, see how they're performing, how many interactions they've handled for their different media types. If I wanted to change or modify this, these are each individual widget or tile is tied to a specific employee or agent. So I can choose to modify this particular tile to monitor a different agent within this dashboard that I'm monitoring currently. So that's a quick look at some of the ways that you can modify your dashboards and some of the information that is available for you to publish within these dashboards from a supervisor's perspective. In the next module, we'll take a look at actually interfacing with these in real time for a specific agent so we can see what we can do with these different tiles for a supervisor throughout their day. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is silent monitor, whisper, coach, and barge in. Now, the first thing that you can do with this particular feature is from an agent's perspective. So what we're going to do is take a look at the request help feature that's available within Ignite as well. Now, for agents who are on an active call, they're going to be able to see the request help option in the top right of their active call window, which is going to bring up this dialog box where I'm going to search Sid, who's my supervisor, so I can request him to initiate a silent monitor from his end of the conversation. Now let's look and see what that looks like for a supervisor. Now that we're in the supervisor's interface, what you're going to see is the request help notification being delivered to me as a conversation. So now that I am delivered with this notification, I can accept that and I can immediately go into a silent monitor with my agent now from a supervisor's perspective. Now from this, I still have all of my available features like account codes. I can obviously, pivot to a different media type, as well as escalate this to my other features like whisper, coach, and barge in, which we're going to kind of tackle from a net new conversation perspective in the next section of this particular module. So now that we've taken a look at the request help feature and how we can do this from an agent's perspective, what we're going to do now is pivot back to our dashboard where we're going to take a look at our employee state tiles. Now that we're looking at our employee state tiles, you will notice that I can initiate that same silent monitor from Sid's employee state tile. Now, while I'm in a monitoring session, from an agent's perspective, they'll also see the monitoring notification within their Ignite client, showcasing that they're still in that active monitoring session. To escalate this conversation, all I need to do is click that icon again, which will take me from a silent monitor to a whisper coach. And then if I need to escalate that conversation even further to initiate a barge in, all I need to do is click that icon a third time, which will take me into a barge in session with that agent. At any time, I can always click the hang up icon, which will take me back into my standard state or not in an active session from a supervisor's standpoint. Now, the last thing we're going to take a look at today is identifying issues within the call center and being able to react to them. So for our David Clardy queue that we've been monitoring today, you'll notice that I have kind of a high call wait time currently. I've had one call already requeued, and you'll notice at the top of my client, I also have notifications and alerts turned on. So we're going to take a look at customizing these, but these are a quick, easy way that we can, aside from just monitoring a dashboard, we can actually get audible and visual alerts from a supervisor's perspective to notify us of situations like a high call volume or a change in an employee state. So that way I can reactively change what's going on within my queue. So from the current state of affairs within my call group, I'll notice that my high call volume trigger has been notified. So I got an audible alert as a supervisor, just letting me know that call volume has exceeded the threshold that I've identified within that alert notification. That triggers me to come and take a look at my dashboard here, which is going to give me some real-time statistics about what's going on within this queue. So I notice that my service level seems to be looking good, but I have a pretty high call volume, and it seems like everybody within my queue is currently unavailable. So a couple options I have here. So me as a supervisor of this queue, I know that I only have one person logged into the queue, which isn't very helpful for me because I've got people waiting. So I can go in and modify one of my agents. So hey, as a supervisor, I know that Keith is also part of this queue. So I can go to his employee state tile and I can modify Keith's presence. So I can go over to his agent groups. I can see that, hey, he's part of the David Clardy queue, but he's currently not in there. But for this particular scenario, Keith is actually going to be on break. So we'll notice, hey, Keith's currently notified as available, but I noticed that Keith went out on his lunch break earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and pop him into a lunch break, and I know that he's not currently available. So I can actually modify my employee state information and modify my agent for me because I know that he's not currently in the office. So now I'm kind of stuck here in the middle of, hey, I've got a high call volume. All of my agents are either currently busy or they're not currently in the office. So how do I actually add agents into my group? Now, for supervisors, they have the tools section of their client. So we're going to pivot away from dashboards, and we're going to take a look at some of the tools that are available for me as a supervisor. Now, within the tools section, you'll notice the last option here is our web configuration tool. This is going to allow me to interface with the various queues that I am a part of. So for today's purposes, we're going to be taking a look at the David agent group, which is the one that we were monitoring for our David Clardy queue. And we're not going to modify agents that are currently in there or update them, but we're going to add members to our group. So we're going to click the add agent option here within our menu, and it's going to give us a full list of all the agents that are available within the queue. So this is every agent that's currently within our system. And I know that, you know, offhand, I know Sid is currently available because he's handling calls for one of my other queues that I'm a supervisor for. So I'm going to say, hey, I need to add Sid into my queue here so that way he can help with my call volume. And I'm going to hit apply, and I'm going to add him into my group so that way he can help with that extended call volume. So we're going to add Sid in here. And if I go back, just so we can see that that change has occurred, if I go back to my home page here and I want to say, let's look at update because that'll show us who's already in there. If I update my queue, I can now see that I have 3 agents currently available. So I have my original David the agent, I have Keith who's currently on his lunch break, and now I have added Sid into this queue who's now present and ready to take that call that was waiting in queue, so that way I can help out my high call volume, high wait times, or whatever type of metrics I'm trying to supersede and prevent from getting out of hand because I'm now tackling my my agent activity here within the queue. So hopefully that's a good look at some of the tools that we have available and how you can utilize information from things like notifications and real-time dashboards to help you stay in touch with what's going on within the queue. And in later modules, we'll look at how to customize things like these dashboards and our notifications within the Ignite interface so that way supervisors can stay up to date with what's going on within their queues. I want to thank everybody for joining us today so we can share this content around Mitel CX and how it can help our various roles within our customers' environments. Hopefully today's content around the supervisor experience was helpful, and we look forward to joining us in our later sessions within the Mitel CX series. Thanks everybody and have a great day.